Good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Stéphane Lebel. I'm Executive Director with Fenestration Canada. Today on the presentation on the call, we have Terry Adamson, who's Technical Director. We have Isabel Cluley, who's membership with us at Fenestration Canada, and we have Farnsworth and Grant Rees from the Farnsworth Group. Today's meeting is basically to let you know a little bit more about the national market study research that FenCan is doing right now, and to let you know like exactly what we're expecting from you guys about that market study. So on that, I'll just mention that we are in the process of collecting data right now. So you'll receive within the next few minutes, basically, you'll see a post go up on the website with everything you would need to do to fill up those forms, those survey. And I just wanted to stress the importance of filling those up as a manufacturer if you guys want to have good results and relevant results. Participation is critical, but on that point, I will give it to Terry to let us know a little bit more about that. And up to you, Terry.
All right. Thanks, Steph. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Brad and Grant from Farnsworth.
Thank you.
In my role over the last couple of years, I've had numerous inquiries about Canadian market data. Unfortunately, up until now, it's usually been a mix of surveys that come out of the U.S. or maybe some incomplete data that's not really relevant for manufacturers that are looking to address their market and to understand what's going on out in the world. Fenestration Canada took the initiative to work with the Farnsworth Group. They've put together a survey, very specifically Canadian, looking at Canadian fenestration industry data, seeing what's going on in our world post-COVID. Obviously, there's lots of impact from that. That's made a lot of changes. We're gonna talk about that a little bit today. I want to share that I did go in and do the window sliding door survey to have a look at it. It's pretty in depth. There's a lot of great questions in there, and I fully expect that it's going to pull a lot of great information. I want to reiterate a little bit of what Steph said. Market data surveys are only as good as the data that they gather. We need our members to really get in and look at these surveys and do a good job of working through them. It's not a 10-minute situation. You need to have somebody in the know in your company that can take the time and work through the surveys to provide really useful, really in-depth data. We're going to have Brad and Grant just show us a little bit about what they've done for the WDMA group in the US, and maybe even take a look at a bit of the survey that they've created for us. Brad and Grant, why don't you take it away?
Thank you. Thanks, Stefan and Terry. Certainly to the group, it is our great pleasure to be undertaking this project for you all. We've been doing this type of work for the US WDMA for the last handful of years. So we're delighted to now be able to do the same type of work for the Canadian market and the Canadian members. I would comment that both myself and Grant in particular, Grant Rees will be our project leader on this project. He and I do the US market, so we'll both be involved. We are here to help. So as you try to fill out the survey instrument that, as Terry mentioned, certainly takes some time to do. So typically we'll see someone executive in the organization reach out to someone on their team to facilitate filling this out. As you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out to us. Again, we are here to help as many participants get the data into us as possible. Just so everyone is aware, the Fenestration Canada does not see any of the information. So the information comes into the Farnsworth Group. We collate it, tabulate, produce reports, etc. So all the information that you would be sharing with us is extremely confidential. So please alleviate that fear from your group. The only people that see this will be our team. And that's very, very important so that we get the confidence of everyone that they can submit their information. We then accumulate it into the data that will be useful to all the members in terms of understanding the structure of the market. So again, we are here to serve. Certainly let us know, call Grant or call Terry, and Terry will get you in touch with us as we move forward. Take a few minutes now to maybe just share some of the output to you all can be expecting once this study is completed. First off, and again, this data is not relevant to the Canadian market at this point, but just to give you a sense of what you'll be seeing, we do annually do a presentation for the WDMA at one of their conferences where we present a couple of things that we'll be certainly doing for the Canadian market as well. This is a presentation that has a couple of components to it. If Grant can kind of jump to the first kind of highlight, the first chunk of information that we will do, these may not be identical drivers that we'll look at for the Canadian market, but these are a series of things that, well, what is driving the market? What are those numbers looking like? How does it kind of give us insight as to where the market itself overall will be going? So you'll see a couple slides. I'll just go as an example for the U.S. market labor participation rate that becomes very important in terms of dollars available to be spent. Next slide as an example is the unemployment rate. Again, as unemployment soars, spend on DIY or new construction begins to drop. So you'll see a presentation that has a lot of these similar kind of materials for the Canadian market. So we can kind of make a comment about where we believe the market will be going in the future for the Canadian market, both relative to new construction to the extent possible, as well as the remodel repair type market. So eventually we'll see a forecast that kind of gives you our best estimate using other sources as well as our own internal data to say, gee, what do we think the market's going to be doing over the next handful of years? So that's kind of the first section of a presentation that we do. The second section then provides kind of the highlight information from the detailed study. So again, if you look at a sample page, this would be residential windows in the US market, both in terms of units and over time. So you'll see a series of slides in this presentation that highlights the information that we're capturing on your all's behalf for the Canadian market. So it would be very, very similar information that you'd be receiving, in this case, at a presentation, which I believe quite sure, Stefan and Terry, that we're planning on for you all as well. So that's kind of one output that comes out of this. More importantly, is the detailed report that is produced and sent to all the members. I believe certainly the participating members get the detailed information. So Grant's going to find that one, I think. 1 second, please.
Might have lost it, but Brad, if you want to walk through this. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. So the actual report that will be received by the members, again, will be a very detailed analysis. If we go to the table of contents, you'll kind of see that, again, we give the background. We do include some state of the industry information like you might have seen in the presentation. So again, this is a typical report that we're providing to WDMA in the US market. State of the industry, again, what's going on, similar to what we would have presented in the conference. Again, then we get into the very detailed information, overall shipments, residential window, commercial structures. Again, the survey you'll be seeing that's being sent out as we speak is very much tailored to the Canadian market. By the way, we also will be sending out those that need a French version. So again, we will have both English and French surveys available. Again, as we go through this, maybe get back to that final section that we get into the detail. So again, we'll actually start now into very much detail. So you'll see, in this case, it is by region. In all cases, it'll be by province. breaking down shipments by specific product categories in a variety of ways. This would be by province. Next slide again shows it in terms of very detailed specifics. In this case, it's example of sliding patio doors, but you'll see the level of detail that we'll be attempting very similar to what we did in US for the Canadian market. So as you'll see, we do ask for a lot of information from you as member manufacturers to allow us to develop this type of information. And again, it gets fairly detailed. In this case, we're looking at residential doors. Again, you get regional share, you get share by type of door, again, material usage, etc. So again, this is information that over the years has become very valuable to the members in the US so that they can look at this stuff, compare their numbers now internally that we will have seen but not shared, but you'll be able to say, well, how do I now compare to what's going on in either terms of growth rates, what's my percent share of the total market as we might estimate it, et cetera, et cetera. So again, this report goes on for 100 some pages, detailed by product category. So just as an example, those are the type of outputs that you all would have available now to you. Hopefully, based on your participation, the more member data we get in, the higher the quality of the information becomes. So Terry, that's a quick overview. I hope that was sufficient to kind of let the members understand kind of the output that we have going to be providing to Fenestration Canada. Stefan or Terry, any addition to that? I didn't want to go too long on that, but be happy to explore it further.
No, that's all good. I was wondering if anyone in the meeting had questions at this point. And in the so if you do, just raise your hand in the
Yes.
in the
So there is a
chat
couple
here.
of questions in the Q&A. So
Okay.
Thomas, US presentation would be good to review, going through it quickly, of course, just showing what they do. I know that presentation survey report is available, but I don't know that it's available to FenCan members at no cost at this point. Is that correct, Brad or Grant?
Yes, that's correct. We can speak with WDMA, that's their research and their report. So probably would want to discuss that with them before sharing that any further.
Stefan, if you want to reach out to Mike, I don't know that you have a problem, but I'll have to yield to you, Stefan and Terry, to get permission.
Well,
to
I
do
mean,
that. I think I've already discussed it. I think they said it wouldn't be a problem, but probably need to confirm that. But be happy to share it if they're okay with it.
For sure. But to Thomas' question, what I would say is that yeah, we can review. There's a committee that reviewed the US survey to adapt it to Canada and what would be useful. So I'm pretty confident that it's worth manufacturers' time. But yeah, we can look into that if needed. And so Terry, did you want me to go through the other questions? And
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So as the survey questionnaire gone out to participants, so as of right now, I think so, like the post was supposed to go up at 12:15. So look on the website or in your emails, you're supposed to have received it. For Bob, who's asking, will there be French? Yeah, we touched on that. So the surveys are also in French and the reports are also going to be in French. Other than members, what other sources will you be using? So there's different sources that the Farnsworth Group use. So maybe I'll let you guys talk on this. But on our side, we are opening this to members to fill up the surveys. But if we have manufacturers, non-members, who would like to fill up the survey to have access to that report later, it's also open to them. So for now, these are the ones. And so I don't know, Brad, if you want to touch a little bit more on
we'll
your other sources.
Other government published sources from Stats Canada. There's a couple other sources in Canada that we use. Our firm, by the way, is a marketing research company that primarily focuses on home improvement, remodel, repair, constructions. And a lot of our clients are both the US and Canada. So we do work in Canada for our clients as well. And in the process of doing that, we do know other sources. we'll use those other sources almost as a way to calibrate, kind of, bracket to make sure as we produce the final report that we've used as much external information to kind of validate what we're seeing in the report. So again, not only Stats Canada, but a series of other sources that are available in Canada will be used to really more calibrate than to actually come up with the data itself. The data itself primarily comes from the people who input or give the survey to us.
We'll also be speaking with Channel. We're calling up to 300 various suppliers to get their input, as well as professionals online surveys as well. So that's going on right now. And that, again, will help us triangulate the size of the market and units for Canada.
As a kind of background, maybe more than anybody wants to know, Stefan, but obviously we would love to get every single manufacturer in Canada to participate. Obviously, that's probably not going to happen. So the reason we do the other external surveys is so we can begin to understand the shares based on what suppliers and pros are using, to then come back and say, well, we know that this is X. They say share is Y, therefore we can kind of build up to a total market size, even though, although I'd love to have everybody participate, we don't think that ever happens. So it allows us to then take what we have and blow it up to the size of the market based on some other external research that we'll be doing for Fenestration Canada. That's the purpose of those other type of studies.
Okay, great.
Maybe more they want to know, Stefan.
Yeah,
That's good.
So timing of study, so that's the question. So from what I understand, I guess is what do we mean by that, Richard? If you can precise
I
your
think he's
question on
looking
this.
for when do we have to have the surveys in? And
Oh,
then
okay.
when can
Yeah.
we expect the final report?
March 14th would be the date to submit your surveys, and somewhere in June would be when we would have the reports up. So Bob, then I might defer to you, Terry, on the next
Sure.
question.
So
Patio.
Bob,
Yeah.
what you're saying for patio and entry doors, will the material be defined as a sash, frame, or both? My understanding is for hinge doors and sliding patio doors, it's the panel or the slab material, correct? So you could have a steel door in a wood frame, you could have a fiberglass door in a wood frame. So fiberglass would be the material being referenced for that question. It's the slab material, correct?
Yeah. And Terry, or for Bob, for that question, in the survey itself, this is glad you asked this question because it's useful. In the survey, when you see it, we have definitions by the product categories to try to get everybody to kind of, as best as possible, not everybody keeps score the same way with their internal data, but as best as possible to get everybody responding in the same way. So you will see definitions in the survey when you open it. That is what, based on the committee at Fenestration Canada, was the best definitions as we thought would be appropriate for the Canadian market to be as consistent as we can when people report their data. So thanks to Terry and the team as we went through a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of feedback. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
But those are in there. So when you get that, if you then have any other questions, again, please reach out to Terry or to our team, and we'll be happy to answer anything we can.
So next question from John, would like a copy of this presentation to share with their team. Is that possible? So yeah, so as I mentioned, you do have like now the post on the website is up. And also this video will end up on YouTube within like I guess tomorrow it's going to be up, or a few days max, but probably tomorrow. So yeah, you can without any issue share that. If that was the question. Then if you're talking about the actual final report, we will have presentations of that will be also shareable to your team. But then if you want the in-depth report, then that's the one that comes with either a fee, or if you participated, then you'll get it. So I think that goes into that next question, the cost for final report for FanCan members, non-members. So basically what we're looking at, we didn't set a price yet for the final report, but in terms of comparison, the same report in the States is $4,000 for the whole study if you're a non-member for WDMA. So that gives you an idea of like where we can kind of like decide here. We didn't set on a price yet with the board, but but what we know is that for those who participate for the first year, we're going to give you that report for free because we know it's sometimes that you need to put, so we want to make sure that you get those results. Do we plan to repeat these surveys? So as of now, if it proves valuable, I don't see why we would stop. So we'll see. It all depends on the uptake of this year, and then we'll address it after. Andrew's asking, is the data being collected anonymously? So yeah, absolutely. Like even FenCan, we won't have like direct access to everything. Basically, we'll see the final report just as you guys will see it. Only Farnsworth will have access to that data, and it's protected. It's private. So yeah, for sure. And Bob, for a sliding patio door, it would be interesting to have both because you can have the mix. Yeah. So I think for this year, what's in the survey is going to need to be what it is after going through like several passes. But to a previous point, if we see value into redoing it, like it comes with adjustments and all of that. And I also want to point out what we decided to include or not include in that research was also trying to be in line with the WDMA research, so we can compare, like kind of have the same report, but have like the US data and the Canadian data and kind of like all talk the same language as much as possible. And then we'll see, like there might be some adjustment for sure. But yeah.
And then to add to that, a lot of the questions in the survey have an other option to answer.
Yes.
So if you had unique products like you're mentioning, Bob, you could add those. You could put them in.
So I don't see any more questions in the Q&A. Is there anyone who wants to talk? Like you can raise your hand, we'll patch you in. And if not, please use the Q&A. We'll give you a couple more seconds to see. Okay, we have Thomas. I'll let you in. Thomas, you should be able to talk now.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon. Quite interesting to have a study for the Canadian landscape. A lot of times, whenever we use the US, we just look at the US as 10 times bigger. So it'd be interesting to see what the differentiation is. If you're able also in the study, just for the labor cost. The reason I say that is in Canada and US, the labor costs are completely different. So when we're going to have meetings with government officials, if we're able to show the extra cost that is for labor in Canada compared to the US or Mexico or where there's less regulations, that can help us with future grant programs, et cetera. So that'd be helpful to factor that in what the labor cost is, if that's a possibility. Thanks.
Noted. Thank you. Okay, Patrick. Patrick, you should be able to talk now.
Hi, folks. Stefan never give me a chance to talk because I'm going to do it. I just want to thank you guys for doing this. I have been struggling with the total vacuum of information in the Canadian market on these matters for a very long time. And I want to just thank you guys for doing this. I'm going to be participating in Fenestra this week, and I'll certainly be encouraging everybody there to get in and fill out their information. I think, and I'm gonna broadcast this around as much as I can, because the quality of this thing will entirely depend on getting everybody to participate. But I think everyone in the industry frustrated with not having enough information should get in on this and make it go really well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Couple questions.
And I mean, it's 100% that, and that's why we did this meeting today, because we wanted to convey that. It's very important for us. Okay, so let's go back. I think we have more questions now.
Yeah, there's a couple questions there.
Yeah, how do you handle unique or limited sample data? I feel like it's a question for Brad.
Yeah, certainly the more participation, the better. So I think that was Patrick. The more you can talk to your colleagues, executive to executive, what have you, and prompt everybody to participate, that would be great. Once we get in the data, we begin to see, you know, how many responses we have per product category, et cetera. If we get too few of responses, first off, we will be reaching out to people along with Stefan and Terry, I'm sure, occasionally to prompt, gee, you haven't got it in yet. Can you get it in? Can you get it in? Can you get it in? So we won't be shy about bugging people a little bit to kind of get the material in. But at the end of the day, if we only have 2 or 3 for some subset of category, that data may not get reported unless we have other significant data that we can use to blow it up. So we're very sensitive to make sure that what we do report, we have great confidence in. So just, you know, we will not be reporting something that we're not sure really is reflective and statistically solid, okay? So what comes out of the report, I think, we've done the same thing with WDMA. There's been at times a couple of categories that people wanted that we just didn't get enough response that we thought comfortable saying, boy, the unit size is 300,000 units. We just didn't want to do that. So we didn't report that information. Hope that answered your question.
I'll answer Bob. I can answer Bob's next question on the survey sections,
Awesome.
entry doors, and window patio doors. Are you able to answer them separately? Yes, that survey at one of the first questions is just asking units of several different things, including doors, patio doors, sliding. When you just put 0 for those, if you put 0 for entry doors, then the rest of the survey won't ask about entry doors. It would just ask you about patio doors or vice versa. And I believe all the questions too are voluntary. So if you had 0, you could put 0 and move on. And then the survey also is, you can leave it and come back out and come back to it later if you want to. I believe Fenestration Canada will be sending out PDFs that you can print off of the survey. I know a lot of members in the States, they'll print those off and just kind of do it over a couple of weeks and write it into that paper survey. And then when they're ready, they'll put all that into the online survey when they're finished. So there's several options for that.
I'll answer the next one, Stefan. No, there will not be market share information in this study. Again, the material we receive from any individual participant is confidential. We will definitely not be saying, okay, here's this guy, here's that guy's brand A, brand B, brand C share. That is not the purpose of the study. The study is to give you the total market. You can go get your own estimated share by using your own numbers internally later on. But this will not include market share data in order to make sure that we get as many participants as possible. Stefan, I didn't know whether you wanted to add any comment to that or not.
No, I mean that's right on. And as I said, first year, if that's the route most people want to go, and then we can expand on what it might be in the future. Like this is, but like for now, it's not part of it. So we have another question. Will we be reviewing the full list of participants and have a chance to encourage some companies that may be conspicuous by your absence? Yeah. That's the first outreach right now. So like that's the big kickoff, I would say. And Alan, to your point, if you feel you guys know, well, this person should fill up that sort, like share the post, push them to do it. We also have to rely on you guys to broadcast it as much as possible, because that's what's going to make it accurate. And we have a question about market share for product categories and materials. Brad, you want to answer that?
Yeah, in terms of mix of product, in other words, whether it's fiberglass, et cetera. So the type of materials, anything that is not brand oriented, brand share oriented, you will have subsets of distribution by, again, product type, by region, et cetera. So again, market share, I don't want to call that market share, but certainly distribution by type of product and materials, et cetera, will be included in the report, again, subject to getting good participation from it.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to clarify that this is all unit shipped. So there are no dollars shared. It's all strictly units.
Wait, is there any regionality to those results? Like, for example, would it say that, I don't know, steel doors are more prominent in a certain region of the country, or no?
Yeah, subject to, again, what I'll keep saying, sample size. We'll slice it as much as possible. But yeah, the intent would be able to say the distribution in Alberta looks like this by vinyl versus
Okay,
whatever. All the other categories have similar kind of things, again, subject to sufficient number of respondents to allow us to do that, Terry, but absolutely.
Excellent. Great.
Awesome. Okay, I think that's it for the questions, unless we have anyone else who wants to chime in. So awesome. So I want to thank you guys for coming today and attending, and of course, Brad and Grant and Terry for helping today with this. Then again, just want to, you should have received the post now if you're signed up on the website. If you're not signed up on the website, please go and do it. But if you want, all the information is right there on the website. So if you just go, like, it's the first news at the top. You will also receive some emails about that in the future. But we just want to make sure, like, it's well known. So please share that article. Please share everything you can about this this project for Fenestration Canada. It's something we've been wanting to do for years now. So I want to make sure this actually happens.
Yeah.
And
So I
again,
just want to add to
I'll
that
be-
too, that sorry, Brad. I just want to add that so far, my experience working with the folks, Brad and Grant and the others at Farnsworth, been really open, really supportive, trying to help us, work our way through, through what we need to see. Fenestration Canada is committed to doing this, and potentially in future years. It's not an inexpensive venture, so I really encourage those members. Your money is paying to do this work, so you need to participate. You need to provide information, and you need to encourage others from the industry. We want to try and capture as much of the Canadian industry as we possibly can. So, like Steph said, send it out, get it out to all of your friends, all of your enemies in the industry, and let's make sure that we gather as much info as we can. And you can reach out to me. Like I say, I've gone through the survey. I got pretty good idea of what's being asked, and things like definitions of that. So by all means, reach out to me, Terry at fenestrationcanada.ca, and if I can't answer your question, I will definitely get you an answer.
Yeah, and we're here to help as well.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Oh, I think we have a last question here.
Questions?
It's in the,
Will
in
the
the chat.
data received only be used for this study? Yeah. I mean, that's my impression. As I said, FenCan doesn't have direct access to each submissions here, so there's really no way we can use it for something else unless we decide to go year after year. I guess there's some type of comparison that goes on,
Historical
but
comparisons,
yeah, but that's it. So, okay, so thanks everyone. If you have other questions, as we said, please reach out, and we'll be monitoring if we receive some surveys now. Thanks again.
Get to it.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot, guys.
Thank you all.
Bye,
Look forward to
everyone.
it.